I did not do this to lose weight. The weight loss was a side benefit to the water fasting. I did this for the autophagy. I wanted to get all of that mucoid plaque and all the other things that have accumulated over the years in my gut. I wanted to get those things out, which we did very, very effectively. And I won't be graphic because if you haven't done it, you'll experience it. You'll know what I'm talking about. But there are things that come out of the human body during a water fast that you're going to say, wow, thank you, Lord, that is no longer in me and it's in the right place, down the drain. Because that was the real thing that I was after, is to get all of those things freed up. But at 63, I'm moving more athletically when I throw, when I lift, when I walk, when I swim, when I do the other activities that I like to do to move my body. And that's really, really important because, like I said, when a man loses, or a woman for that matter, loses their athleticism, the next step is not a good one. So you want to maintain athleticism as long as you possibly can. Well, if you're carrying around a big gut and you're all inflamed and you got all this mucoid plaque, how are you going to do that? And the only way to get rid of that, frankly, is water fasting.
Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome. Thank you for clicking in this video. I'm Fran, and here today I am with John, who did a 21-day water fasting, and I had the honor and privilege to supervise him because he's such an amazing guy, a great story. And today John will share with us his water fasting experience. He will share with us his results and benefits and how he experienced it. So, hello, John. Welcome. It's great to have you here. And, you want to start sharing with the people who are watching, why did you decide to do a fast? What drove you into that big decision?
Yeah, and it is a big decision. You're right. You're right. It's looking back on it, I was like, wow, that was kind of crazy. But what drove me to it? First of all, I'm a science geek. So I've been familiar with water fasting for some time. Let me take 3 weeks of John time, okay? And let me put my health first. And it's okay to be selfish with your time when it comes to your health, because if you have a family, like which many people listening to this will, and your health fails, you're going to put your family in a much worse situation than if you just say, hey, let me work all the time. So I said, let me take these 3 weeks, make it John time, be able to rest, be able to read, be able to meditate, be able to stretch, be able to do all the things I needed to do in a comfortable environment in my own home. So that's basically what we did. And the first 3 days are tough. The first day's not really that bad because you're living off of prior food. The second day's a little tougher. The third day for me, both my 10-day water fast 4 years ago and my 21-day fast this time, the third day's a tough one. The third day is when you question, what the heck am I doing this for? But I got through it, with your help and guidance. And of course, I knew what to expect a little bit. So we got through it. By the fourth day, you stop the cravings. And by about the fifth day, you really are to the point where, somebody could walk in with your favorite food and you probably aren't going to be that affected by it. So that's kind of how we started. And 21 days went by pretty quick, quite honestly. I was home. I was able to go in my pool. I was able to go in I got a cold therapy thing that I do. I was able to go in there. I was able to exercise very moderately at home, just kind of, doing some stretching and stuff. So it went by pretty quick. It got to the end and I was ready to stop on about the 19th day, but it was like, hey, we said 21. And I think one of the things for everyone listening to this is when you make a commitment, this commitment is to yourself. And keep your commitment to yourself. We keep commitments to all sorts of other people. This is a commitment to you that you need to keep. Whether it's 21 days or less or more, keep the commitment. Because I'm glad I did. I was glad when it was over. But at the end of the day, we said 21, we made 21. Could we have made 22, 23? Sure we could. But we said 21 and we kept to that.
Beautiful, John. Very well explained. The importance of commitment with oneself. It's not even with me that I was your supervisor and coach. It was with yourself. So, what results have you found with this fast?
Well, here's what's amazing. Okay, so when I started Raw Vegan, New Year's Day of this year, I was 288 pounds. And from a high of 333, by the way, I'd gotten up to 333 about 15 years ago. That was the most I ever was. And I got down into the 250s pretty comfortable just being raw vegan, 258, 259, in that range, weight-wise. On the fast, I got down to 231. I think it was the lowest that I was. What's great is here we are now almost 2 months later, okay? And I'm carrying right now between 238 and about 243, 244, depending on the day. I do plan to do another water fast at some point. You and I will talk about probably later this year as we get towards the end of the year or early next year. Once again, guidance is really important. You don't do this on your own. I was monitored throughout by yourself. My wife would take my daily numbers and we would send them to Fran, blood pressure, heart rate, just to make sure, I'm not a young guy, I'm 63, but even if you're 33, you just want to make sure something goes wrong, you get yourself to a medical facility. And we didn't have any problem, frankly. We handled it very, very well, but that doesn't mean that's everybody, you know what I mean, across the board. So just monitor yourself. Don't do this on your own.
Well said, John. Well said. It's very important to have someone supervising you and coaching you, because symptoms might arise, different symptoms, and if the person is not familiar with those symptoms, they can get scared and they break the fast prematurely, unnecessary. And sometimes those symptoms are telling us that the fast might be terminated prematurely. So someone who has gone through the process many times and supervised many people, and I've studied and worked in a fasting center, gives me the enough experience to know about this. So it's very, very important. And especially you were very motivated through the process, but some people, they need that extra push daily. You can do it. You're doing a great job. This is very important. You're cleansing, because the mind can start talking to you to break the fast. Have you experienced something like that?
Yes and no. I didn't have any desire to break the fast because I committed to 21 days. It was going to be 21 days, barring anything medically make me stop. And we didn't have anything, fortunately. So that gave me the desire to go forward. The autophagy was the reason. One of the things that happens with this, because everybody notices I've all of this weight and I've kept it off now for a number of months, and now more since the fast. So I look a lot younger, which is good. But I want to be clear with everybody listening to this. I did not do this to lose weight. The weight loss was a side benefit to the water fasting. I did this for the autophagy. I wanted to get all of that mucoid plaque and all the other things that have accumulated over the years in my gut. I wanted to get those things out, which we did very, very effectively. And I won't be graphic, because if you haven't done it, you'll experience it. You'll know what I'm talking about. But there are things that come out of the human body during a water fast that you're going to say, wow, thank you, Lord, that is no longer in me and it's in the right place, down the drain. Because that was the real thing that I was after, is to get all of those things freed up. And I think that's why maintaining my weight where I am has been fairly easy, frankly. It's not been difficult at all. I just kind of went back on what I was doing prior as far as eating. And second to that, I found that my energy has remained very, very high. I mean, I get up most days by 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I've got 2 businesses that we own and run. I'm busy day and night, weekends. I'm always doing something. I'm always working on a project or a phone call or a Zoom call. I've got a podcast on top of it that I run every other week. So I'm always busy. And at 63, I don't feel non-energetic. I mean, when I go to bed, I sleep, but at the end of the day, I find that my health habits are really, really good. The other thing, Fran, that I didn't even tell you, but I'll tell you this now, is I kind of adopted the going to bed earlier, getting up earlier as a permanent part of this. Because when you fast, you're going to find weird times that you wake up. Okay. Well, I kept that. Okay. I've always been an early riser, but I've kept that now, and it's helping because I'm like the United States Marine Corps. By 7 o'clock in the morning, I got things done that most people are still rolling out of bed and, thinking, what are they going to do today? So, that's been another benefit, is just that consistency health-wise of starting the day early, getting to bed early, getting my REM sleep, and then getting my butt out of bed and getting busy. For me, because I've always been very driven in everything I've done, athletically, business. I'm a driver. And I said, okay, what do I do for an encore after I do the 21-day fast? So on July 4th, right, I'm American. So on July 4th, right, because it's an easy date to remember, I said, I'm going to start doing a thing called 75 hard, which is 2 workouts a day. Now, I've always been good on 1 workout a day in the morning. I've always energy in the morning, go to the gym, go throw the shot put, discus, do whatever I'm going to do as a workout. But the thing with 75 hard is that you do 2 workouts a day. 1 has to be outside. That second workout, which 4 o'clock, some days 5 o'clock in the afternoon, would have been difficult. I would have got there, my legs are sore, I'm tired, I've already out, I'm 63, blah, 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 blah. Well, I am now on day 34, I think it is, of doing 2 workouts a day, minimum 45 minutes per workout. Okay. So, this is a lifestyle, not a one-off where you water fast and you go back to eating McDonald's. Okay. You water fast with the intentionality of stepping up your game. Dietary wise, if you're not raw vegan, maybe become raw vegan. If you're not vegetarian, maybe become vegetarian. Diet is queen, exercise is king. You put them together and you build a kingdom. So the 2 things work, synergistically. But if the diet's right, your body says, exercise me. I feel good. Go walk, go run, go hit a tennis ball, go do something with your body. Whereas if you're filling your body with a bunch of junk, your body just says, well, let me stay on the couch,
Beautiful, John. Beautiful. Excellent. You're speaking so much truth. And it's really incredible that now you're doing 2 workouts a day, every day. Every day at age 63, you're so young and strong, and this fast made you even younger. I'm so happy for you. So imagine, like, you were feeling energetic before, you had lost weight, and even with this water fast, you lost even more weight. You're more in shape, more fit, more energetic, more determined. Let's talk about your mind. How's your mind now? You're like very focused. You're thinking better. How is it?
What's funny is my mind is better than it's been in years. To be honest with you, before I went raw vegan, I started to feel like I was starting to lose it a little bit. Since I went raw vegan and then adding the water fast component in there, boy, my mind, I am working on so many different things as we speak, Fran. So many different projects within my 2 businesses that and I'm nailing it. It's like I've got the clarity and the direction on things that I'm going, wow. Like I've got this real clearness, if you will, of what needs to be done. And I work with a lot of other people, by the way, and I need to give them instructions sometimes. And most of them are 20 years younger than me or more. And a lot of times I'm giving them instruction. Oh, I forgot. I'm thinking, well, how come I didn't forget and you forgot? Well, you're not doing water fast. You're not doing cleanses. You're not eating right. So, the one, by the way, the one girl I work with who is vegan, I never need to give her direction because she's on it. Yeah, she's on it. The brain's functioning correctly.
That's funny. Yeah. Very, very funny. That's very funny. And tell me, what about inflammation? Have you noticed even another change after the water fast? Oh no, that remained the same.
It's funny, the inflammation, especially my hip area, I have a lot of inflammation. I've got osteoarthritis in both of my hips. And the doctor last year, we did a little stem cell treatment. And the doctor said, you're probably going to need hip replacement surgery at some point. And that may be reality down the road. But by losing the weight, by water fasting, by exercising, right now, I don't feel like my hips are in bad shape. And I'm doing at least minimum. I've got my sports watch. I do a minimum 10,000 steps per day. And it's funny, before the water fast, even though I had lost the weight, a lot of the weight that I eventually would lose, I was still having a lot of trouble doing 10,000 steps a day. I would get very, very stiff on my right side. And I found since the water fast, it's just not happening. So hopefully that'll continue. I think, once again, keeping the weight down, keeping the dietary discipline, keeping the daily discipline of exercise, stretching. I'm doing a lot of stretching as well. You put that all together, and it's a good combination to keep the inflammation in my body down.
Hips not hurting?
Not really. And it's funny because I shot put in discus, right? And the discus, and I'm not good at either one of these things, by the way. I took these up in my 50s, but I have a friend who's elite, and we go out and we throw together. And we were out Saturday morning throwing together, and he said, "Hey, you can actually bend down and get the discus." He goes, "I'm noticing you're moving better." And then he was kidding me. He goes, "You actually got a six-pack now." And this guy's was an Olympic alternate in the discus in 1984 for the U.S., and he's still a great thrower. He said, "You are moving more athletically than I've ever seen you move."
Wow.
Okay, and that's really important, because the first thing we lose as men as we get older is our athleticism. But at 63, I'm moving more athletically when I throw, when I lift, when I walk, when I swim, when I do the other activities that I like to do to move my body. And that's really, really important, because, like I said, when a man loses, or a woman for that matter, loses their athleticism, the next step is not a good one. So you want to maintain athleticism as long as you possibly can. Well, if you're carrying around a big gut and you're all inflamed, and you got all this mucoid plaque in your, how are you going to do that? And the only way to get rid of that, frankly, is water fasting.
Very good, John. Very good points. Incredible what you're sharing. And share, as you mentioned already, but share, if you can, in a little bit more detail, how much you eliminated during the fast. So let me explain for the people watching. When you're fasting, generally you don't eliminate, because usually it works that the new food that you eat pushes the old and gets out of the body, okay? So most people eliminate in the refeeding process, which is when you start eating again after the prolonged fast. But few people eliminate during the fast. It's because the body is being able and has a lot of material there to get rid of. So that was John's example. And John, so how many days in a row, or how many days of your fast you eliminated?
I'd have to add it up, Fran, but I want to say it was about every other day. The first couple of days, every day. And then when we got to about day 5 was when it started to slow up. But about every other day, I would eliminate something. And what you eliminate, once again, I don't want to be graphic if anybody's listening to this and has a weak stomach, but what you eliminate is not anything you've ever seen come out of your body before. If you haven't water fasted, you have, you know what I'm talking about. And this is stuff that when it's out of you, you realize how toxic your body actually becomes from processed food, polluted water, air, you name it. Okay. And even if you have a good diet, because my diet, even prior to being raw vegan, I was vegetarian for 7 years. So I wasn't living on McDonald's cheeseburgers. I was eating a pretty healthy diet, quote unquote, even though I was overweight. So what I would say to that is, about every other day is when I went, and what was coming out was exciting to me, because I was like, wow, that was in my small intestine, in my villi, and that stuff could not be good for not only elimination, but also in terms of all the other things that come with it, right? The cancers and all of the other disease states that are associated with our colon. I mean, I forget what doctor it was, but one of the famous doctors, maybe even Hippocrates for that matter, said death begins in colon. right? So you think about it, when you hear somebody get sick and they ultimately die, it's normally something stomach related. So the more of this stuff that you get out of you, frankly, the better off you're going to be. And my only advice to people is, hey, try it. You know what I mean? Like try it and do it with a coach, do it with Fran. Let him coach you through the process. Okay. He's a great coach, by the way. He's a very, very good man. He's very sensitive. Okay. And he's very tough if he has to be. Okay. Because I mean, during a fast, sometimes, hey, people get psychologically affected by it. You will, in some cases, you will have vivid dreams. Okay. Because remember something, your stomach's not digesting. Where's all the blood going? Up here to your head. So that being, not all the blood, but obviously, but a lot of blood. So you may have dreams that, things that come to light that maybe aren't even positive, and you say, oh, I got to stop this. Okay, don't. Those are things that you got to get out, because a lot of this is physical, but I really believe more of this is emotional. The fact that I could go 21 days without food proves that we're that overfed. Okay. But if I couldn't convince myself here that I could do this, that I could go through the process, that I could be coached by Fran, and I could give into the rest that I needed to give into, which I needed. If I wasn't willing to do all of that, okay, yeah, there's a psychological component to this that you have to overcome as well. So I said, if I'm going to inspire other people, I can't give up. I can't quit on John. If I quit on John, well, they're going to quit on themselves. I don't know what they're going through, once again. I think it's a game changer. I think it's the ultimate hack, if you will. The word hack is used, or biohacks used in all the health stuff these days. It's not another vitamin. It's not another herb. It's not another thing that's heavily promoted as a breakthrough. And there are some good things in the nutrition world. But at the end of the day, you got to heal your body before any of those things are going to work. So part of this is self-healing. You look at it, and historically, Jesus, Muhammad, Gandhi, Martin Luther King. I mean, you can go down a list of all of the religious leaders, spiritual leaders, if you will, and I'm forgetting quite a few. All of them water fasted at some point. Why? What did they know that we as just normal human beings didn't know? What wisdom did they possess? What wisdom did Jesus possess to say, okay, 40 days, I'm going to water fast, right? He didn't say it quite in those terms, but he did 40 days. And I don't know your circumstance if you're listening to this, but talk to Fran, be honest with him where you're at. Okay. That's the other thing. You got to be honest with your coach. The coach can only help you in any environment. And I'm talking as a lifelong athlete. A coach can only help you if you say, here's where I'm struggling. So be upfront about everything, discuss it, and make a plan that makes sense for you, and maybe try it in a smaller interval at first, maybe do a 3-day weekend thing. Okay. I don't know. But once again, I'm just a firm believer in this. I tell everybody that they need to do it. I've got a few people that are listening, most who say, yeah, great idea, John. I'll get back to you,
Thank you, John. That was awesome. Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you for your testimonial. I'm very happy for you. I'm very proud and happy, and it's such a joy to see you thrive and that you share your workouts and your updates and see you be happy with your life. So thank you very much for sharing this with me and with everyone.
Well, thank you for all of your help and your guidance and your friendship. I mean, since January 1st, the best thing of all of this, I got a new friend in Fran, and he is a friend, and he's an amazing guy. But most importantly, he's got this knowledge to guide you. So let him guide you through the process, okay? Don't be afraid of it. And once again, just be upfront and honest about where things are at with your health.